White as well, and they are certainly our top two crews, there's no doubt about that. But UTS Haberfield, Stocks and Kerpeniotis, and ANA, Amato and Mansell are the very clear leading couple of crews here. And Swan River look to be in third place. Isabella Edinger and Stephanie Potmer. Fremantle fourth, Clara Connolly, Madison Naylor, and the University of Western Australia, Alice Gratian and Isabella Marchetti. So the West Australian clubs have really taken to the club events here with 4 entries in this heat of the club women's double scull. But it is the combination from New South Wales who are leading still comfortably enough. Louisa Stocks and Taylor Kerpeniotis across on lane 4 for UTS Haberfield. They got the lane 4 pounder. I'm not sure they're quite in lane 4 there. That looks more like about lane 1.5 to me. Yeah,
it looks it's quite gusty, that wind, isn't it? I'm just watching one of the crews at the end there, and they're really struggling to stay in the lane.
Regardless, they are well enough clear here, the crew from UTS Haberfield, so they record a comfortable win here in this 4th heat of the club women's double scull. As they go through in a couple of strokes time, a fairly leisurely finish to the race, it has to be said.
It's either leisurely or it's a strong wind and they're really pushing hard into it. Yeah, well done, exactly. UTS Haberfield taking out heat 4.
And then ANA will finish in the second of the qualifying spot, so they also go straight through to the semi-finals on Saturday. It will be for those races 5, 5, 9 and 5, 6, 0 on the program. And to the repechage in third place, it will be the Swan River combination in this battle of the West Australian clubs. Isabella Edinger and Carly Vierman, they'll finish third. Fourth goes to Lara Connolly and Madison Naylor of Fremantle. And in fifth place from the University of Western Australia, it will be Alice Grolton and Isabella Marchetti.
So as our final crew approaches the line, we can confirm the results of the 4th heat of the club women's double scull. A win for UTS Haberfield, Louisa Stocks and Taylor Kerpeniotis. And second, ANA, Mariana Marto and Alyssa Mansell. Those 2 crews will progress through to the semi-final. Sitting in third, Swan River, 4th, Fremantle and 5th, University of Western Australia. They will progress to the repechage. Winning time 9 minutes 9.59 seconds. Our next race already on the course is the 1st heat of the club men's double scull, with the first 2 to progress through to the semi-final. In lane 1, the University of Queensland, Mac Russell and Callum Breedska, coached by Michael Russell and Randall Martin. In lane 2, St George Rowing Club, Lachlan Dunn and Callum Dunn, coached by Mark Featherston. In lane 3, St Joseph's College, New South Wales, Grant Dreyer and Harper Timms, coached by Will Raven, Michael Lane and Tom Morgan. In lane 4, from the University of Western Australia, Isaac Hamilton and Aaron Den Uden, coached by George White. In lane 5, from Pine Rivers of Queensland, Henry Borger and Michael Hart, coached by Catherine and Alan Borger. In lane 6, from UTS Haberfield Rowing Club, Chris Thompson and Tate Van Heemst, coached by Elliot Shackloff Bertonetti. And in lane 7, representing Newcastle Rowing Club, Ben Homer and Remy Keats. So Mac Russell and Callum Breedska in lane 1, both experienced coastal rowers from the National Rowing Championships, so you'd think they'd cope well with these conditions.
Yes, indeed. And yeah, there's still some breeze out there, and great interest certainly from up here in the lane 7 combination from the Newcastle Rowing Club as well. Our own Ben Homer rowing with Remy Keats. So I saw them out preparing to go out about an hour or so, getting very serious for this race. And
you mean they had snorkel and mask on?
It was getting towards that, but no, it was serious business, these club men's double sculls. But it is lane 6 who leads here for UTS Haberfield, Chris Thompson and Tate Van Heemst. Newcastle are in second place, Ben Homer and Remy Keats. And then third in the centre of the course from the University of Western Australia is Isaac Hamilton and Aaron Den Uden. Now with the redraw here, it should still be first and second through to the semi-final. So a day off for those crews that finish in the top 2. So well placed, certainly. We do see those 2 combinations from New South Wales of Chris Thompson and Tate Van Heemst in lane 6. Ben Homer, who can do everything, it seems, and Remy Keats in lane 7. And they are certainly clear of the University of Western Australia lane 4. In third place, Isaac Hamilton and Aaron Den Uden. University of Queensland in lane 1. As Lizzie mentioned, an experienced combination, certainly in the coastal rowing version of the sport. Mac Russell and Callum Britsky there would be in 5th place. And Pine Rivers as well, Henry Borgia and Michael Hart, as they continue on their way down the course. There are only a couple of strokes to go, and Newcastle and UTS Haberfield having a bit of a sprint to the finish here. Ben Homer wants to finish in 1st place and ensure he gets the day off, but UTS Haberfield have no desire to let him go through. It is still the UTS Haberfield combination, clear by about a length. Newcastle certainly closing in the late strokes of this race. They'll get within a boat length, but with only a couple of strokes to go, UTS Haberfield will hold on and take the win in the first heat of the Club Men's Double Scull. Newcastle Rowing Club in 2nd place, and they're pretty happy with that too, and they are through directly to the semi-finals of the Club Men's Double Scull. So it's UTS and Newcastle, our direct qualifiers. 3rd place will go the way of the crew from the University of Western Australia, racing in lane 4. And the rest of the field still to come home. Possibly University of Queensland will take out 4th place. The crew of Russell and Bretsky on the far side of the course. They do indeed by just under a length from the yellow boat there in the centre lane, which would be Pine Rivers, lane 5. And 2 crews still to come home. Looks like might be the colours of St George there, I think, in 6th place. Lachlan Dunn and Callum Dunn. And that leaves St Joseph's, Grant Dreyer and Harper Timms in 7th place, or should. I'm not sure we do have that 7th crew there. So 6 boats across the line.
Confirming the results of the first heat of the Club Men's Double Scull, a win for UTS Haberfield, Thompson and Van Heemst. 2nd, Newcastle Rowing Club, Homer and Keats. Those 2 crews progressed directly through to the semi-final. And now progressing to the repechage, University of WA, University of Queensland, Pine Rivers Rowing Club and St George Rowing Club. Winning time 7 minutes 41.18, the margin just 1.42. The 2nd heat of the Club Men's Double Scull is now in progress, with Banks Rowing Club in lane 1, Heinrich Vensky and Kane Bullock. In lane 2, University of Western Australia, Ethan Bromley and Oliver Cliff. In lane 3, Sydney Rowing Club, Nicholas Whalen and Charlie Hine. In lane 4, Swan River, Benjamin Sutherland and William Morich. In lane 5, West Australian Rowing Club, Joseph Dawson and Dejan Buis. In lane 6, Melbourne University Boat Club, Alistair Isherwood and James Gardner. And in lane 7, from UTS Haberfield, Mitch Blackmore-Cram and Matisse Ferrier. I don't know, Matisse Ferrier is nominated for the under-23 French team. Does that not exclude him?
From a club event? Well, I guess it's interesting loophole. We'll have to check the fine print on that one, Lizzie. I guess he's not nominated for the Australian team, so
there we go. It's within the rules.
I don't know who wrote the rules.
UTS to find a look.
There's a way around it. Yes,
they're too smart.
They're too smart, and they're doing well here through that UTS combination. They were the leaders all the way down the course so far through about 1,650 metres. And they had 6 seconds on Melbourne University in 2nd place. So Mitch Blackmore-Cram and Matisse Ferrier. The race leaders, Al Isherwood and James Gardner from Melbourne University, and they're in
this is
2nd place.
Al Isherwood from Perfect Balance Rowing.
This is the one and the same.
Great to see him out competing. Good on him.
Yes, and great to see. So he's substituted for a rower whose last name was Hudson, quite fittingly for someone involved in the boat trade. But there you have it. So they're our top 2, certainly closest to us here on the finish tower side of the course. And then right across to the other side, a pretty experienced double scull from the Banks Rowing Club in Melbourne, Heinrich Vensky and Kane Bullock, I think I mentioned to you yesterday. Lizzie, you're also involved in some coastal rowing events back in December. But back and also certainly rode together in Victorian Championships recently as well. So an experienced double there from Banks. They would be in 3rd place. 4th, the red colours of the West Australian Rowing Club, Joseph Dawson and Dejan Bohus. And they're our top 4. But 2 only to go through directly to the semi-finals to join the top 2 from the previous race. And certainly it is UTS Haberfield well clear here. Mitch Blackmore-Cram and Matisse Ferrier, coached by Elliot Shackloff-Bertinetti, will take out the win in Heat 2 of 3 now in the Club Men's Double Scull. Next home will be Melbourne University. Al Isherwood and James Gardner, the very hard-working Alicia Wood somehow finding time to get back out on the water in the club events, and then to the far side of the course we go to Banks, Heinrich Venske and Kane Bullock will be third.
Mitch Blackmore-Cram is a really good sculler, so great to see him out there in that club double. And as I said, Mathis Ferrier from the French under-23 squad training at UTS Haberfield, and EB, Elliot Shackloth-Bertonetti, so he coaches coastal rowing. So Mathis has also taken part in it. Good to see that taking off, isn't it?
It is indeed. Fourth there, West Australian Rowing Club. I think there's Joseph Dawson and Dajan Bow, who's just edging out the combination from, must have been the University of Western Australia. I think they're in lane 2.
Yep, that's them.
Who finished 5th and 6th and 7th.
I'm sure I saw.
Again, I think it might just be 6. This looks like a Swan River crew coming home next. So that would be...
Ben Sutherland and Will Murrich. So Will Murrich, who... I thought I saw them on... Oh, yes, there they are. Somebody.
That was supposed to be in the Vex.
It appears to be our final crew crossing the line. I thought I did see Sydney Rowing Club, anyway, who knows. The winner of Heat 2 in the Club Men's Double Scull UTS Haberfield Rowing Club, second Melbourne University Boat Club, so those two crews will progress through to the semi-final directly. Third, Banks Rowing Club, fourth, West Australian Rowing Club, fifth, the University of WA, and sixth, Swan River. They will progress to the repechage, and either did not start or did not finish Sydney Rowing Club.
We've solved one mystery, Lizzie. The St Joseph's crew, who are missing from the previous race, are progressing now down the inside of the course.
I'm glad we can count our chickens home, that's all.
Yes, we're running out of fingers when we get 6 and 7 boats in a race. We need 2 hands, but as long as we're not taking our shoes off, things should be okay.
So can you see, have we got Heat 3? Yes,
yeah, Heat 3 is approaching. It's about 2/3 of the way down the course, the third and final heat of the Club Men's Double Scull.
In lane 2, we have West Australian Rowing Club with Blake Wyatt and Sam Toland, coached by Stefano Belosso. In lane 3, ANA Rowing Club here in WA, Liam Squires-Welsh and Mark Easterbrook, coached by Graham Scatterbrook. Another West Australian Rowing Club crew in lane 4, Charlie Pike and Grant Hogarth, also coached by Stefano Belosso. Swan River Rowing Club are in lane 5, Ryan Povey and James Young, coached by Mark Beer. In lane 6, from Commercial Rowing Club in Queensland, Harry Dixon and Tom Coates, coached by Stephen Pozzi. And in lane 7, also from Queensland, Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise, Anthony Cook and Charles Clark, coached by Chris Holliday and Duncan Free. Lovely view from the drone there.
Yep, that is the last of our club races for now. The third heat, only 3 required in the Club Men's Double Scull. The Australian Schools Rowing Championships are also underway, Lizzie, from the 2,000 metre start. I see the first heat of many in the schoolgirls single scull has just begun. It does not surprise me to see Zara Kafuri leading that race as well. But a few hundred metres to go still here in the concluding stages of the third heat of the Club Men's Double Scull. And the West Australians have led this from the start, it seems, over in lane 2, but being challenged late on this side of the course by Commercial and also Griffith University Surfers Paradise.
That's the West Australian crew of Blake Wyatt and Sam Toland, coached by Stefano Belosso. And we can see Commercial now. You can see on the drone footage or in front of you if you're here at the grounds that Commercial are now pushing through the Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise crew. The Commercial crew of Harry Dixon and Tom Coates. Only 2 will progress directly through to the semi-final. Everybody else is going to have to go through a repechage. So Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise, Anthony Cook and Charles Clark, super keen to try and get into that semi-final and have an afternoon off, but I don't think it's going to necessarily go all their way.
No, not quite. They'll get close in the end, but a length or so away from a qualifying spot. The win goes on the far side of the course to Blake Wyatt and Sam Toland from the West Australian Rowing Club by about 3 lengths, so a pretty commanding margin of victory. Second will be Commercial, Harry Dixon and Tom Coates. Third then Griffith University Surfers Paradise, Anthony Cook and Charles Clark. Swan River look to be next on lane 5. Ryan Povey and James Young there, the combination for the Swan River Rowing Club. Again, a lot of West Australians in this heat. They really are taking these club events seriously, as you'd expect the local clubs to do. Next will be A&A, Liam Squires-Welsh and Mark Easterbrook. And then for the West Australian Rowing Club, Charlie Pike and Grant Hogarth will round out the field. So first and second through to the semis, and the remainder of the field to the repechage tomorrow.
And confirming that first was West Australian Rowing Club Wyatt and Toland, and second Commercial Dixon and Coates. They progressed to the semi-final. Remainder to the repechage. Winning time 7 minutes 44.14. Race 385 has been cancelled. Rate 386 is our first heat in the schoolgirl single scull. In lane 2, from Loreto Kirribilli, Alice Watkins, coached by Elliot Hunt. In lane 3, from Trinity Lutheran in Queensland, Charlie Newman, coached by Eric Rowan. In lane 4, from Norwood International High, Bianca Kohlberg, coached by Tom Dornbos. In lane 5, from Perth College, Laura Stokes. In lane 6, from Loreto Marriotteville, Emily Lang, coached by Dario Sportelli. And in lane 7, from the SEDA College, Zara Kfouri, coached by David Orchard.
Now these events have also been redrawn, Lizzie, because your page says something very different to mine, but that was the correct list as you read them out with the newest information. So yeah, Zara Kfouri from the Cedar College is the under-19 single scull champion of Victoria and the head of the schoolgirls winner from a couple of weeks ago. So it doesn't surprise to see her leading here. She usually competes for Yarra Yarra in the bright red colours of the Yarra Yarra Rowing Club. And already a pretty strong performance from her, making the final of the under 19 single scull. I think it was earlier today. But racing here, of course, in this school event where they all race for their schools rather than clubs. So we often see a few names we don't otherwise recognise on the course here. But Cedar College is Zara Kfouri's school in Melbourne, and she has a comfortable lead indeed over the rest of the field in this first of the of many heats it would be in the schoolgirls single scull. Some 8 heats, in fact, required, so racing from here through till 3:43 this afternoon, so a lot of heats at 4-minute intervals, in fact, too, so racing certainly coming thick and fast here as the schoolgirl single scullers make their way down the course. So it is Zara Kfouri from Cedar College leading by over 16 seconds from Bianca Kohlberg of Norwood International in Adelaide. So the Victorian scull leads the South Australian. The progression here in this redrawn event is in fact not clear, because I think it was first and second to go through to the quarterfinals. I'm assuming that's still to be the case, but if you've got an earlier version of the draw, the names may not be correct you're seeing on the page. But in any case, a pick field here in this event means that quarterfinals and repechages and semi-finals are all required to work out our finalists for Sunday morning. But
so 1 and 2 through to the quarterfinals, and the remainder to the repechage. So we'll have quarterfinals. There will be then semi-finals A and B and C and D and G and E, and so the essence of it is that everyone in the school's regatta will get to compete on Sunday in a final.
I think I may have seen an I final scheduled on Sunday morning in one of the early draws. So that's a lot of racing. There'll be another big day on Sunday. I think again we start about 7:30
for the early shift on Sunday.
We brought back in the school's expert Chris McCarthy for these races. So the 8 heats of the schoolgirls single scull coming up, and yes, this part of the regatta will conclude on Sunday morning prior to the interstate races on Sunday afternoon. But Zara Kfouri of Cedar College is well clear here, although in my eyes she's actually rowing in the Yarra Yarra colours in any case.
Backing up, I think she was in the quad not half an hour ago.
She was in that, yes, the composite quad, that's right, with a couple of Sydney Rowing Club athletes, I think it was. Mm-hmm. So she's had a busy week so far, as many of these school athletes certainly have. But Zara Kfouri of Cedar College will take out the first of 8 heats in the schoolgirl single scull, and she will go through very comfortably clear ahead of, in second place, it'll be Norwood International's Bianca Kohlberg. sculler from South Australia there on lane 4, coached by Tom Dornbos. Now they'll be the two qualifying straight to the quarterfinals and avoiding one round of racing. And 6 and 2, the next couple of scullers. So Emily Lang of Loretto Marriotteville and Alice Watkins of Loretto Kirribilli. Two of the Loretto schools, one from Sydney, one from Adelaide, finishing 3rd and 4th spot. 5th will be the lane 5 sculler. That is Laura Stokes from Perth College. And just looks like one more boat there on the course, lane 3. Is Trinity Lutheran from the Gold Coast, Charlie Newman, who will be across the line. So just the 6 scullers, it seems, in that race from the 7 who were listed. Have been, as we mentioned a few times, quite a few changes, substitutions, or not in the case of a single scull, just straight scratchings from the event, which is why there is a redrawn set of 8 heats. And they come at us thick and fast at 4-minute intervals here. So the first heat concluded, and heat 2 already on the course and about halfway down. Heat 3 is also underway through the 500-metre mark, so we're racing all over the course here. It looks like Asia Heaps from St Luke's Anglican School of Bundaberg is leading Heat 2. We have a field, yes, a field of 6 it looks like, with the scratching again from the Bradford College sculler in lane 1. So Asia Heaps from St Luke's at Bundaberg leads the race on lane 2. Somerville House from Brisbane, Lila Meredith in lane 3. Ruby Gray from MLCQ in 4. Kelly McRae of Rockhampton Girls Grammar School in 5. Amber Tulloch from, I think it's Our Lady of the Sacred Hearts from a school in Bentley, if I recall correctly, in Melbourne, in lane 6. She's also a member of the Carrum Rowing Club, training on the National Water Sports Centre. And St Hilda's Perth in lane 7, Emma O'Neill. Would be second, in fact, at the halfway mark of the race. So on either side of the course, our top 2. Asia Heaps leading it from Emma O'Neill. Lanes 2 and lane 7. Lane 1 is vacant in this race. So it's a field of 6. And once again, first and second will go through to the semi-finals directly. And under a second between our top 2 at the halfway mark. But actually now in the third 500, the lead has changed. And Emma O'Neill from St Hilda's of Perth leads the race by just over 4 seconds ahead of Asia Heaps from St Luke's of Bundaberg, who's had a busy regatta already rowing for the Bundaberg Rowing Club. And then Amber Tulloch from Our Lady of the Sacred Heart sits her in 3rd place. Kelly McRae is 4th for Rockhampton Girls Grammar School. And it's the top 2 only to go through, so it looks like it'll be lane 7 and lane 2 in this second heat of the schoolgirls single scull. Deep into the final quarter of this race now, and still it is the sculls on either side of the course. It looked to be first and second. Emma O'Neill from the West Australian Rowing Club, Asia Heaps of St Luke's Anglican, Amber Tulloch from Our Lady of the Sacred Heart still looks to be in 3rd place from here, and then Kelly McRae of Rockhampton Girls Grammar School. So our top 4 remain unchanged. Somerville House and MLCQ filling out the 5th and 6th spots. Lila Meredith from Somerville in lane 3, and Ruby Gray of MLCQ in lane 4. So we actually have a meeting here of the great 2 fluoro green clubs and schools of Australia in the same heat, which is not something you see every day. I've been accused in Victoria of calling it Somerville Green, when in Victoria it's Carrum Green. But as you can see here on the course, they are very familiar bright green colours worn by both the sculler from OLSH, Amber Tulloch, and the sculler from Somerville House. But both, unfortunately, are going to miss out on a direct qualifying spot, and the win will go the way of the sculler closest to us in the finish tower from the Perth College. That is Alessia. That is, in fact, St Hilda's Perth. Emma O'Neill it will be who will take the win there, coached by Keely Atchison. So I think that might make her... she's been rowing already at this regatta, a strong sculling squad that Keely Atchison has been coaching. The win goes to St Hilda's Perth, and second place to Asia Heaps of St Luke's Anglican on the far side of the course. Then the Carrum colours in the form of Amber Tulloch are across the line next in third. She will progress through to the repechage. Fourth will go to the sculler from Rockhampton Girls Grammar School, Callie McRae. Fifth will be the bright green of Somerville House in the form of Lila Meredith. So for those not familiar with Somerville House in Brisbane, their school uniform is very similar to that bright green colour that we are seeing there on Lila Meredith. And then MLCQ Ruby Gray, and also Rose at the Yarra Yarra Club, will finish in sixth spot.
Richard, did you just mention the great fluoro rowing schools of Australia without mentioning Churchy?
Well, the fluoro caps, this is true.
Okay?
I've let that one go, but that's just when it comes to headwear. So the High Vis Headwear Club is a different one again. We've got... Yeah, it's catching on. I know even the Penrith Rowing Club now is appearing with bright pink bucket hats. So they're all trying to outdo each other.
St Joseph's, St Ignatius, and I think sometimes Sydney Boys High School in Sydney all catching on as well. It's become a bit of a fashion statement.
Well, it started out certainly in Queensland as a safety device to avoid, after unfortunately a collision with the City Cat by St Margaret's crew back in the mid 2000s, I think it was. So since then, a number of schools that are on the Brisbane River started wearing different coloured caps, but they became very useful at regattas too. Very easy to spot from a long way away, and clearly it's spread to Sydney and Carrum and other places as well.
Thinking if we're as on schedule as we were yesterday, then the crew's competing in the open, in the schoolboys Cox Date in the last couple of races of the day. So there you go. So St Ignatius competing in the second last race of the day at 5:55. If we're as late as yesterday, they will be needing those.
Will be very
caps.
useful as the sun sets in the on the far side of the course. We must have a look here at Heat 3 of the schoolgirls single scull, making its way pretty quickly down in the concluding stages. There is a pretty clear top two once again. The sculler from St Pat's, Townsville. In fact, it's Kinross Walleroy's Lucy Searle. Again, two races on our screen at the same time, but it's Kinross leading here. Lucy Searle over in lane 2, and St Pat's, Townsville, Lily Bragg in lane 5 are our top two in the qualifying spots. And then Alessia Sirocco of Perth College looks likely to be in third, and with that she will go to the repechage. Georgia Mortimer from St Luke's Anglican of Bundaberg sits in fourth place.
Lucy Searle would have to be one of the hot favourites for this event, backing up off bronze medal in the under-19 single scull this morning. Of course, in some different shade of light blue this morning, but and then we'll see her again this afternoon in the schoolgirl Cox quad for Kinross Walleroy as well.
Yeah, certainly that distinctive light blue boat there, and she's very comfortable indeed, is Lucy Searle there in the Kinross Walleroy colours, as she'll take the win in Heat 3 of the schoolgirls at single scull. Second will go there in the centre of the course to the sculler from St Pat's, Townsville. It is Lily Bragg. So she'll also move directly through to the quarterfinals. And then in third place, lane 7, so Perth College. Alessia Sirocco there finishing third. She moves through to the repechage. Next time looks to be the lane 6 sculler. In the colours of the St Luke's Anglican School from Bundaberg, Georgia Mortimer will go through to the repechage. And a couple of scullers still to come home out towards the far side of the course. It'll be the Mouse sculler, Marcella Paget, who'll finish 5th, and Ruby Lindray from Gippsland Grammar will complete the course in 6th position. I'm not, no.
So heat number 4 on the course now, 4 of 8 heats of the schoolgirl single scull that we'll have this afternoon, and it does look like those girls are just coming through the 1500 metre mark, so just in front of us actually. We would have the sculler from Fintona, Francesco Spano, who has been leading the race. A little bit narrower of margins than what we have seen in previous ones. So 6 seconds up on St Margaret Mary's Maya Williams. Octavia Thompson from Shelford Girls Grammar sitting in third, a little while 13 seconds out of that quarterfinal qualification spot. Sarah Burke from St Pat's Townsville in fourth. Alyssa Fickers from Loreto Kirribilli in fifth place. And Rose Ricks of Brisbane State High in sixth position.
So there's the Fintona Sculler there in the centre of the course. We near the finish here of race 389. In fact, it's lane 4 there, so that's Sarah Burke of St Pat's Townsville. I think they're the sculler about to take the win.
Yep,
Is indeed, yeah, Sarah Burke from St Pat's. And then in lane 7, Brisbane State High School's Rose Ricks, about 4 lengths further back. So they'll finish first and second to move through to the quarterfinals, and then the remainder of the field to the repechage. It's like one of the Lorettos over there in lane 2. It's Loretto of the Kirribilli variety from Sydney, who'll finish in third spot. That is Alyssa Fickers. And next home in the centre of the course, I think this now is the sculler from Fintona on lane 5, Francesca Spano. We're looking for Shelford Girls Grammar, and also St Margaret Mary's College from Townsville. Maya Williams will finish in 5th place, and 6th will go to the sculler from Shelford. That's 4 of 8 heats complete in the schoolgirls single scullers. We gradually whittle down this field of many schoolgirls to a series eventually of quarterfinals and then semi-finals to come on Saturday's racing. Several races still ahead of many of these schoolgirls as they work their way through this big field. Yeah. Now here comes the fifth heat of the schoolgirls, the single scull, and Astrid Thomas leading it for Brisbane Girls Grammar School. And it's a pretty comfortable lead. Does seem to the scull there in the dark blue colours of Brisbane Girls Grammar. Lane 5 is Astrid Thomas. Second place from Perth College, Elise Moreau Barrett, who's sitting in the lane next to our race leader, but several lengths further back, with a clear second place certainly to the scull there from Perth College. And then St Peter's Lutheran School from Brisbane, Eva Hosking is at third, but again some pretty big margins here. 13.5 seconds from first to second, 14.5 seconds from second to third. So our two qualifiers are very clear. Also All Hallows School from Brisbane there in lane 7. Danielle Watt looks destined to finish in fourth place, but on to the quarterfinals goes our race leader from Brisbane Girls Grammar School. Astrid Thomas it is who takes the win. Brisbane Girls Grammar having a breakthrough head of the river win in Queensland a couple of years ago under the guidance of Blaine Heseltine as their coach, who we saw racing earlier today in the lightweight events as well. But a great coaching career already for Blaine Heseltine and helping Brisbane Girls Grammar School to a drought-breaking first 8 win. Perth College in second place. Elise Moreau Barrett is also through to the quarterfinals of the schoolgirl single scull with a second place in heat 5. 9 minutes 30.66, the unofficial winning time there for Brisbane Girls Grammar School, and 16.7 seconds back to Perth College in second. St Peter's third with Eva Hosking in that distinctly coloured boat. We've got a new category again, Chris. We can have bright coloured boats as well to go with Zooties and headwear. That one certainly stands out for the St Peter's colour.
Lutheran do generally take the cake on that. They've got quite a few bright pink boats.
They do. In fact, a few years ago, yes, I recall they in fact did race in just bright pink Zooties as well. They were a very distinctive school going back a decade or so. Fourth place has gone to the sculler from All Hallows, Danielle Watt, and Olivia Schubert of Lauriston Girls will finish in fifth place.
And 6th, 7th, 8th, then 9th.
Yes, on our screen,
really.
she's taken all the places out. But next time will be Queenwood's Naomi Peace, I think, to round out the field in this fifth heat of the schoolgirls at single scull, as they're just about all across the line now in heat 5. Heat 6 of the schoolgirls single scull with a field of 6 here. Angelica Chia is racing in lane 1 for Norwood International High. Lily Rose Hall Krause of Seymour College in lane 3. Felicity Bishop of Somerville House in Brisbane in lane 4. Emma Newhouse of Pulteney Grammar from Adelaide in 5. Alice McCready of Newcastle Grammar lane 6. And Georgia Brennan from Rockhampton Girls Grammar School is racing in lane 7. And they're well inside the final 500 metres of this race. And it is Newcastle Grammar leading through Alice McCready. So lane 6 and 7, in fact, the two qualifying spots likely here. Georgia Brennan in second place. Only 4 seconds between those two at 1500, so a relatively close race. Unusually so far for this series of heats, but both look very certain to qualify ahead. I think of Lily Rose Hall Krause, the sculler from Seymour College. She's raced at this regatta in the colours of the Nagambie Rowing Club, but of course in the schoolettes competing for her school, which is the Seymour College. Seymour, a town, of course, just a bit to the south of Nagambie, where the freeways diverge as you're heading north out of Melbourne. And that's the school of Lily Rose Hall Krause, who sits here in third place. But a good race between the top two still, Alice McCready and Georgia Brennan, both likely to go through. And you would think with several races still in front of them, they would be looking to avoid too much of a tough finish here, but it certainly continues to be Alice McCready who leads Georgia Brennan by around about a length or so. He's reducing as they close in on the finish line here. But Georgia Brennan of Rockhampton Girls Grammar School be within about 2/3 of a length now of Alice McCready of Newcastle Grammar. But these two both guaranteed a spot into the quarterfinals of the schoolgirls at single scull. And it will remain at about a length as they go across the finish line. So first place, Newcastle Grammar, Alice McCready. Second, Georgia Brennan from Rockhampton Grammar School. A clear top two there. Next across the line will be Lily Rose Hall Krause from the Seymour College. There's a few strokes to go still from her to complete the course, and she'll have a repechage to come tomorrow. tight here for 4th and 5th between Felicity Bishop, is it there, of Somerville House, in again the famous fluoro green colours. Angelica Chia of Norwood International High, and also the sculler there from Pulteney Grammar, Emma Newhouse, will complete the field of 6 in the 6th and final heat of the schoolgirls single scull.